and streaming live on the ESPN app.
J.T. Barrett struggled once again as Ohio State lost to Oklahoma at home on Saturday. Should the Buckeyes make a change at quarterback? We'll ask Kirk Herbstreit when he joins Mike and Mike Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
You know me from Rocky V. In real life, I'm Tommy the Duke Morrison.
He had a style that people loved. You have a kid that's on top of the world, and in one moment's time,
Have tested positive for the HIV virus.
people run from you. How do you cope with that?
What if I told you his toughest fight was outside the ring? ESPN Film Crew presented by Mini. Tommy, available tomorrow exclusively on the ESPN app.
Summon Terrorborn!
He's at the podiatrist.
Going into battle without the best team? Bad fantasy. Drafting your team from anywhere? Good fantasy. Sign up now at ESPN.com/GoodFantasy.
Hi, it's Paul Feinbaum. Country music superstar Toby Keith is my special guest, plus reigning Heisman Trophy winner Lamar Jackson.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, Tuesday at 3 Eastern on the ESPN app and the SEC Network.
As a sports companionship motivational speaker, I think about all of my lonely listeners out there searching for a companion. A sports companion that streams each and every one of your sports desires. Games and shows, live or on demand. Sports your way. Personalized for all of your sports desires. All you need is the will and the know-how. Repeat after me. I will find my sports companion. I will download the ESPN app. Download the ESPN app now.
Mike and Mike.
Hashtag Too Far Tuesday. Carson Wentz wins MVP and the Eagles win the Super Bowl. I have them behind the Cowboys and the Giants in that division right now. But you never know who gets hot at times. You never know if there's going to be that surprise team. I don't expect it, but if it were to happen, it wouldn't be so far-fetched where I'd say, oh, my God, that's just ridiculous. Correct. I think it's the perfect definition of the Too Far Tuesday.
Mike and Mike on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
You like baseball?
The boys of summer play here.
Baseball, hot dogs, apple pie.
On ESPN 1220 KGIR, Cape Girardeau. This is a local sports center update from Southeast Missouri's ESPN Radio Network.
I'm Eric Sean. This Sports Center update is brought to you by Bertrand Law Firm. Visit TreyBertrand.com. After a day off Monday, the Cardinals continue their 6-game homestand tonight with the first of 3 against the last-place Reds. The Cards have won 3 straight, 7 of 8, 9 of their last 11. They just finished off a 3-game sweep of the Pirates. St. Louis enters play 2 games behind the first-place Cubs in the NL Central. They're 3.5 games behind the Rockies in the wild card race. Cards have struggled against Cincinnati this season, posting a 5-8 record. They have not lost a season series against the Reds in 6 years. The 2 teams will play 6 more times this season. Lance Lynn gets the baseball tonight for St. Louis. Lynn is 10-7 with an ERA of 2.94. Reds counter with right-hander Robert Stevenson at 7.15. The SEMO football team will play its home opener Saturday night against SIU Carbondale. The Salukis are 1-0, a 55-3 victory last week over Mississippi Valley State. Southeast beat Southern the last time they came to Cape in 2015. Kickoff Saturday is at 6. Missouri football hosts Purdue Saturday at 6 o'clock at Faurot Field.
Get Sports Center updates every hour on Southeast Missouri's ESPN 92.9 FM and 1220 AM.
There's nothing better than award-winning jumbo wings and an ice-cold schooner while you watch great sports programming on huge flat screens at Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. If you love wings and a whole menu of great food and drink options, come to Wings Etc. for lunch, dinner, late-night drinks and snacking, and lots of HDTV sports. And now, when you can't eat, drink, and watch the game here, order online for pickup at togo.wingsetc.com. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. Good food, great times, and online ordering at togo.wingsetc.com.
Principal Mark Ruark of Saxony Lutheran High School.
I thought about a career on the Pro Golf Tour, but there's more glamour in education.
It's their 18th annual Golf Classic, coming September 15th to the Cape Girardeau Country Club.
I once eagled a par 5 with a 380-yard drive off the tee.
Yes, it's time to get your team signed up for the Saxony Golf Classic. How did you do that?
Cart path, baby. You know how far a ball will bounce when it hits the cart path?
Van Mater Buick GMC Cadillac will sponsor a hole-in-one car.
Please, don't hit the car.
Win prizes for the lawn longest drive.
I'm going for that.
The longest putt, closest to the pin, and the straightest drive.
We have several attraction holes, including Cinco de Mayo, Wine on 9, and an opportunity to buy a tee shot from a mystery golfer.
Saxony's 4-person Scramble Annual Golf Classic will have shotgun starts at 8 in the morning.
For $125 a person.
And 1:30 in the afternoon. That includes breakfast or lunch, snacks, beverages.
And mulligans.
The Saxony Golf Classic, Friday, September 15th at the Cape Girardeau Country Club.
Just call Saxony at 204-7555.
And now, your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
Well, moisture from Irma will overspread the region throughout the day today. Gusty winds in the forecast with showers today. Cool temperatures, a high 67. Cloudy with showers tonight, low 59. Morning clouds, threat of showers tomorrow with a high 71. Sunshine will make a return on Thursday, 85. Dry for the close of the week. Richard Duettiga, the Weather Channel.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast right here on the ESPN Radio Network. This is your local home for Mike and Mike, the Sports Huddle, and all your favorite teams. Get it all right here.
This makes my day go great.
On the SEMO ESPN Sports Network. This is a proud presentation of Mississippi River Radio Sports, the Sports Authority.
And now, at last,
it's time for the Red Hawks Coaches Show on the SEMO ESPN Radio Sports Network.
I have more to tell you.
The Southeast Coaches Show airs every Tuesday at noon on ESPN 92.9 FM and 1220 AM. Live from Wings Etc. in Cape and Jackson. This is your chance to delve deep into the Red Hawks football season with head coach Tom Matukowicz.
Now, ladies and gentlemen,
let's go live to Wings Etc.
Let's go!
Right here, ESPN.
It's another edition of the Red Hawks Coaches Show, live from Wings Etc. We are in the Jackson location of Wings Etc. today, so we hope that you will join us. We've got a nice crowd, lunch people filing in. We would like you to join us as well. You can for lunch. And don't forget their daily half-pound lunch specials. Start at just $6.49. In addition to the lunch specials, they have a full menu with freshly made burgers, wraps, subs. They have quesadillas, entree salads, smoked ribs, and, of course, their award-winning jumbo wings. If you'd like to dine in with us, we invite you to do that. You can carry out, call ahead as well. And don't forget all of the best sports programming on the high-def flat-screen televisions right here at Wings Etc. We've got Red Hawk football highlights back here in the banquet room. When you walk in Wings in the Jackson location, just take a quick right, and we're all congregated right back here in the banquet room. So we want to invite you to come by. Red Hawks cornerback Mike Ford is here. Good to have him back after missing 4 games last year with a broken arm. We'll talk with him. He is in the house. I think he just got his order in, so he'll be getting some lunch food. Coach Tom Matukowicz is here, and the Mike Ford experience is back and ready to go. This guy is an all-energy football player, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly right. He's always got energy, and he's flying around, and super proud of where he's at in his game and where he's at in leadership. So I know we'll get into him more, but it's good to be crossover into Jackson. You know, when you start football, you know, I drive home and to work, and that's it, and then went to Kansas and then went to Dayton. So I almost forgot my way over here a little bit because all you do is work. But are you still calling Jackson's game?
I am. This is my 10th season calling Jackson game. Now,
man, I
the
guess
last
the game
2 weeks
Friday
I've been traveling with you guys, so I wasn't with them
there.
Yeah.
But I would congrats to those guys and the season that they're started on, and that was a big win against that team in Arkansas. They're pretty good. And
Marion, Arkansas put up 60 points on them over there last year, so and they were behind in the second half, so they had to come from back. But when you think football, now you've been here. This is your 4th year, so you've been over to some Jackson football games. No one in this part of the state fills a stadium like they do for Jackson football game.
They love their athletics, and it's a true community, and that's why you appreciate it. And we only get to see one. The NCAA rules, unfortunately, don't allow us to just go watch football games, but we'll see the Cape Jackson game as we always do, and it's in the pit this year, so that'll be fun to see.
And the Indians will be on the road, by the way, this week. They just had a couple of home games. Want to remind you, the first home game means the first tailgate of the season. And I know that the tailgates have gotten bigger and better every year that you've been here, Coach. I can remember back my first year calling SEMO football, 2000. There was no tailgate. We kind of congregated, and we invited some people and brought some food and beverage in over at the Houck Fieldhouse parking lot. And there were probably a dozen or 2 dozen of us back in 2000. And it has grown now to, it's a real event, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it should be, right? College football is different. You know, you don't get many of these. We only get 5. And so let's make it a whole day of it. And there's just energy in the community. And just when you drive by there, you just know something's going on. And I think that's why we play well at home. I think our kids feed off that energy. And where else could you tailgate right on the edge of the turf? I mean, that is something unique just to SEMO, and we're doing a better job of making it look first class with, you know, the matching tents. Nate and Brady and all those guys have gotten it to where, you know, it feels a lot more first class.
We want to remind you that you need to pick up your exclusive River Radio tailgate ticket. It is for this Saturday. It's going to start all at 4 o'clock. So we invite you to stop in, get your tailgate ticket at Firehouse Subs or Texas Roadhouse before this Saturday, and then meet us in front of Houck Stadium before the game gets underway at 4 o'clock. But again, Texas Roadhouse and Firehouse Subs. Just very close to the Wings, etc. location in Cape Girardeau. So we want to remind everybody, kickoff will be at 6 o'clock, and this is a big rivalry in football. SEMO has not played any team more in football over the years, a series that dates back to 1909, the first time. The Cubs were the reigning world champions the first time that SEMO and SIU played each other in football, 1909.
That's crazy. It makes sense. You know, it makes sense as two institutions, the location, you know, every part of it makes sense that you play. When you look back I know one of the first things I did when I got the job, I looked at attendance, you know, the attendance records. I don't know the top 10. I think 6 of the 10 was versus SIU, and so that's something that always stuck out to me. And just with the series, and it's tough because they've made a real commitment to their athletics. Their facility is you know, amazing,
phenomenal,
and certainly you know, that hurts you in recruiting because, you know, we recruit a lot of the same areas, whether it's Memphis or St. Louis. They're in, you know, we're going head to head on a lot of things, so makes this game you know, all that more important.
85th all-time meeting, by the way, between these two teams. Red Hawks lead the all-time series, 40 wins, 36 losses. They have tied 8 times, and then of course, Houck Field was built in 1930, so they played this series even before Houck Stadium was erected. But since they've been playing at Houck, since 1930, the Red Hawks have an 18-17 lead over SIU Carbondale. And the last time they came over here, Coach, you beat them. That was a really big win when you beat them in 2015.
Yeah, and every time we've played, it's been a great game, right? I mean, you know, even
8-point game last year.
Yeah, so I mean, it's going to come down to the wire, and you know, it's what it's all about. You work hard. You want games like this. You know, I know our fans will appreciate good games, and you know, our mindset, those just got to be on the focus on the preparation and being ready for this opportunity.
Much more to talk about with SIU coming up, the Salukis and the Red Hawks. And again, it's a 6 o'clock kickoff. Tailgate gets underway at 4, so make plans to join us early. And again, Texas Roadhouse and Firehouse Subs to get your River Radio tailgate ticket before Saturday's game. The Red Hawks fell on the road at the University of Dayton this past Saturday, 25-23. It went right down to the wire. It seems like all of your games go right down to the wire. It's a final last possession game. You go down an impressive drive as you had all game to get the ball in the end zone there with under a minute to play, and you throw the touchdown pass to Christian Wilkerson, have a chance to send the game into overtime, and Dayton intercepts the 2-point conversion. But another game right down to the final offensive play.
Yeah, I mean, we were backed up. I think we got the ball with about a minute 30 on the 12. Went on a 80-plus yard drive, and you know, Jesse looked really good. The protection looked good, and wideouts made several plays and got in the end zone, and then called a 2-point play. They had a really good call versus it wasn't there, and fired it in there to try to make a play, and at the end of the day, they made one more play than us and was able to get a victory.
And you still had one final chance, an onside kick attempt, and they did a good job of getting on the football.
Yeah, for sure.
How often do you run onside kicks in practice?
We run them every week. Normally we'll get about 4 shots a week of it, and then you don't use it every time, but obviously when you need it, you need it. And it was actually a pretty solid kick.
I thought so. It bounced up high for.
But it's kind of just like our whole football team. He's supposed. The whistle blows, and we have to line up inside the numbers, right? Whistle blows, we're getting outside the numbers. Well, he's so excited kicking onside, he starts before the other 2 guys had gotten set, and so they were late getting off and wasn't able to get there. And he's a redshirt freshman, and it was a good kick and all that. But it's just that kind of the story of our team is we got a lot of newcomers. Got 7 new starters on offense, 7 new starters on defense. Obviously new specialists, and so when you look, most of the main issues are self-inflicted, which is a good thing. You play SEMO and Dayton. You don't feel like, hey, that's just, you lost because you weren't necessarily good enough. You lost because we weren't able to execute at that level. But you feel like a lot of those things are fixable. A lot of the things that happened in KU we were able to fix by Dayton. But there's some things in Dayton that we got to fix before SIU.
Well, they got on the board first. First of all, your first possession of the game, everything looked to be going good. Marquez Terry rips off a first down run, so you're getting ready to set up with your first and 10, and here comes the first flag of the day, and it brings you back. I believe it was a holding call, so that nullified the first down. Then you're in long yardage situation, and that kind of killed the opening drive. But it looked like you had gotten off to a pretty good start with Marquez Terry, who ends up with 111 rushing yards on the day.
Yeah, that's why we deferred. I was really looking forward to how we start because we didn't start well versus KU, and so we kick it. We stop them. We have great field position. We're going bam, 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 and then we get a holding call. And the thing is, as a coach, is you just got to do a better job of. I teach my team how to play based on what I'm being told from the OVC. And when you cross from the OVC into another league, they have different interpretations of what a hold is or what all these things are. And they were different. And so the first half we had a lot of penalties and wish we'd have been able to get them fixed quicker. We got them fixed in the second half, but it was certainly an issue. Stopped 2 drives in the first half on 2 holding penalties that really, like I talked about, those were self-inflicted. Those weren't Dayton caused. We caused those.
And the first touchdown of the day, J.P. Forcucci catches a 15-yard pass in the right corner of the end zone. From our angle in the press box, it looked like he had 2 guys, and then it might have just been some miscommunication because he seemed like he got away and behind the defense. What did you see on the touchdown?
It was a pick route.
Yeah.
They picked us, yeah.
And oftentimes that is – a flag is thrown on a pick route.
Yeah, but they're smart. They're able to do it good enough that it doesn't get called. But came down to, by Darius Knighton, who's a redshirt freshman starting. He motored on a press. And if you're pressed, you got to stay on the line of scrimmage so you don't get rubbed. Mike can talk about that. He motored out and got rubbed. And, those are the things that we got to continue to get him going. And physically, he's really good. It's just, getting all these reps in that for the first time, first-year starter. He was redshirted a year ago. And he made a lot of plays too, but that's a great learning lesson for him.
So they jump out to a 7-0 lead with about 7:19 to go in the first quarter. Then right before the end of the first period, their field goal kicker, true freshman, he had just missed 2 of 3 the week before in their loss to Robert Morris, 3-point loss, missed 2 field goals. This guy gets the first of what turned out to be a school record tying 4 field goals in one game. He missed 1, but for the most part, he didn't have any long field goal attempts. Yeah. But, give the guy some credit. He did kick 4 field goals, so all of a sudden they're up 10-0.
Yeah, give credit to Dayton. They did a good job of getting him better. That kid did a good job, and that's still something we got to focus on, and it's something we talked with Mike and the other corners that we got to, find a way to block some of those things. We felt like we had an opportunity to block some of them, but we didn't execute as well as we could, and that needs to be something we continue to work on. We did affect one where he missed, but hopefully we can affect more.
How much do you think the wind affected the kicking game on Saturday? Because it was a crosswind, and it wasn't just a breeze.
Well, not as much as our punt team did.
Yeah.
So, that's our main focus is, kicking game has been a staple here. And, as a program, we really value that. And we got to get better at it. I mean, it is what it is. We're breaking in some new guys, but as coaches, we got to make that look better, and we're in the process of doing that. And so hopefully we get that fixed by SIU.
And what you're referring to, a couple of blocked punts in the game, and it wasn't just you were switching punters, man. I mean, you were trying to do everything you could. Both guys had a punt block.
Yeah, well, no, it was just this one guy.
Oh, same guy.
Same guy. So it wasn't.
You did use your second punters, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
And so that was the issue. And you hate to even say they're blocked, because he just, he hit it was about 5 yards in the air and hit our own player. So, if it was blocked, then you feel like you could fix that protection problem.
Gotcha.
Hey, we got a protection problem, we'll get it fixed. But when it's not a protection problem and it just, is a poorly executed kick, it is what it is. We got to build skill with him, but we got to open that competition up. And make sure we're putting the best guy out there that we have.
So all of a sudden you look up, you're down by a couple of scores, then you put your first scoring drive together. It goes 16 plays. That's a long drive, 65 yards. And you cap it with Marquez Terry, first collegiate touchdown out of Wildcat formation. He takes a direct snap, and I think he went in untouched.
Yeah, did a great job, and we moved the chains well. We got a run game going, got some intermediate passing game, and that was a great drive.
So you've got it to 10-7 there, and then right before halftime, they kick a field goal. That makes it 13-7. Then they get a field goal in the opening 2 minutes of half number 2, and all of a sudden you look up and you're down by 9 points. So that's a 2-score disadvantage. Third quarter, what's the message to your team right there?
Well, I think the biggest things, we went on a 2-minute drive before half and drove it right down the field, and that was a really good drive because 2 minutes been something that we haven't done a very good job of. And so our offense went on I don't know what it is in there, but got it down there, and we ended up missing a field goal before half. And so offensively, certainly glad to see improvement in our 2-minute drive. You hate that Nico missed that field goal, but
I think it was a 41-yard attempt.
And, that could have been a win thing. But, again, he's a newcomer, and I know he's going to get there. It's just we got to continue to build skill, and he's got to continue to take personal responsibility in how he treats the week and each opportunity that he gets. Then at halftime, we talked what we talked about before the game. We knew it was going to be a close game. There's a reason they won 20 games, and we got to fix the penalties. Was the main focus, and come out and try to win the second half.
So your 2-minute drive right before halftime. What I thought was interesting, you faced a little adversity on that drive because there were some balls that Jesse Hoskett put on some receivers' hands that weren't hauled in. Sometimes those are drive killers. Didn't really end up being that way. I mean, you overcame some balls that were in guys' hands. I think you had a ball that could have been caught in the end zone on a certain play. So there were some things that you had to overcome on that final drive.
Yeah, I think that's the main takeaway from the whole game. Overcoming adversity, because same thing with defense. Like all those block kicks, the turnovers, and all that kept happening, and they had to keep coming out. And how disappointing is that, right? If you're a defense, you just stop and you get a ball to offense. Now all of a sudden you got to come out and you're in red zone. No fault to your own. Yeah. But they kept responding, and I think that's the thing is the character of the football team sound. Like it's not about the score. It's not about what the situation is. It's about just your attitude and your effort, and you keep coming, and you get out there and you find a way to try to get them stopped, or you find a way to try to get a score.
So you fall down by 2 scores. It's 16-7. Then you do get a field goal from Nico Letang. He kicks one from 31 yards. And then comes the big play. Trayvon Billington, who had a catch for a touchdown week 1 against Kansas. He catches a 68-yard touchdown pass from Jesse Hoskett. I don't know how he stayed on his feet, Coach, because he was losing his balance. You see a lot of guys who are stumbling. They're trying to outrun guys. He was behind the defense, racing to the end zone. He was stumbling and somehow kept his balance. That was a heck of an individual play by Trayvon.
It really was. It was a great throw, but, super proud of Trey. He didn't play on offense last year. He's just a redshirt sophomore, and so he's still getting better. But even from KU to Dayton, he got a lot better. He had some procedure issues in KU game that he took off the film versus Dayton. He's doing a great job blocking. Like he's having he's off to a great start for his sophomore year.
He looks like he's got a chance to be a legitimate playmaker for you, not like a possession receiver, which is fine. You need guys like that. He looks to be like he could be a playmaker.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that last drive, but one he caught on the side, and instead of going out of bounds, he
turned it upfield.
Turned it upfield and got another 8 to 10 yards, which is nice to see.
And he finishes his day, Trayvon Billington, with 6 catches, 135 yards, a touchdown, of course, the 68-yarder. And then it turns into the Kyle Caparo show. He ends up throwing a touchdown pass to Ryan Skabinski, a guy we talked about before the game that runs a 4.40, very fast guy. That ends up being a 9-yard touchdown pass. Then they get their 4th field goal of the day, and that's right before you put your final drive together. So, after you took the lead in the football game, how did you see things transpire after that?
Well, it was just about responding, because that's when the punts happened and the turnovers happened, and we're lucky that we stayed in the game. I mean, we turned the ball over 3 times inside our own 30, so generally that's, you don't get blown out of a game when that happens.
I thought, now there are 2 interceptions that are charged. Now, there was an interception on the 2-point conversion at the end of the game. It doesn't go down as an interception because it's a point after try. But the first interception for Jesse, that's a ball right in one of your receiver's hands. I mean, he throws a really good ball there, but it's kind of a juggling situation. Not really Jesse's fault on that play.
No, kind of double caught it and catches it, and then kind of goes back to catch it again. By that time, the DB had gotten there and kind of took it away from us. And that was a significant deal, because that was also about a 20-yard gain if he'd caught it the first time. And so, again, it was adversity that our team had to respond to.
The running game of Dayton, how much did that surprise you? 192 yards is what they rushed for. And this Tucker Yinger, he had a 3rd and 21 draw play that he rushed for a touchdown. There was a 3rd and 16. I think they brought their backup tailback in for that one, Sean Profit. How much were you impressed, though, by the way they were able to run the football and this Tucker Yinger, who averaged about 6 yards per carry?
It certainly ended up being a difference in the game. Their ability to have 200 yards rushing. A couple times that, 3rd and 20, we had kind of a pass defense called. And certainly we should have been able to tackle it by the time before it got a first down. But they got us a couple of times. But then at the end of the day, their coaches and their running game, they did it. They were able to move chains and do just good enough to limit the possessions of our offense. And they ended up winning the football game because of it.
I thought you did a nice job in pass coverage a couple of times when they were trying to throw the football to match up advantages for them. They've got a 6'6" receiver. They've got a 6'5" receiver. And they threw a couple of fade patterns to each of them on each different end zone, and you defended both of those plays. Those are tough plays to defend. You don't have 6'5" and 6'6" defensive backs.
Yeah, we talked about that before the game. I know we talked about it as a team. Those are tough, and I thought we were strong at reception point. Both our DBs defended some good fade balls, some good deep balls. High pointed it, was strong at reception point, and was able to break up the pass.
You've got some help for Mike Ford in that defensive secondary, a brand new player. He made his debut on Saturday. His name is Rico McWilliams, a transfer from the Southeastern Conference from South Carolina. What can you tell us about Rico McWilliams? Hadn't played in a year, was in the starting lineup for you. What can you tell us about him, and what did you see from Rico on Saturday?
Well, he's got a great story, and probably don't have time for it, but comes from Louisiana and went to South Carolina, started 20 games for them. has his undergraduate degree. He ended up choosing not to play his 5th year because his family had just really horrible flooding in Louisiana. So he actually quit school, went home, quit the team and went home and tried to help his family just recover from this flood. And then a year later, he just missed it and wanted to get back into football. We had to do a lot of waivers, and our compliance guy, Robert Grime, and his staff did a good job of doing the waiver process to get him eligible. He wasn't eligible until the week of KU game. And so he's a guy that, is not quite in shape, but is getting there. We certainly feel like he can be a starter and a really good player in our conference. But he's kind of like the rest of the guys. It's just that you don't just show up and you're that. You have to work and practice and be in the kind of shape and work on your craft. So he's still kind of going, but he had what I would say a good outing.
And a guy that played a lot of football against Florida, Tennessee, Vanderbilt. We're talking about SEC teams. I mean, this guy has been in some pretty big stages against some pretty good athletes. On paper, that sounds like, boy, that's really going to help out your defense.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that don't get talked about enough is he's not a disruption. Like, he really wants to become us. He's done a good job. We talked to him about his legacy, about maybe talking to some of our younger players and mentoring them. And he's really come and embraced the Red Hawks and being a part of our program. And he's a tremendous kid. He's, very, very mature. And so he's been a great addition.
And I know you vet that process you really take a close look at it, because anybody that's followed your program for 4 years, you don't get a lot of FBS transfers. That's not the way that you have decided to build your roster. So this is more the exception to the rule, Rico McWilliams.
Yeah, it's hard, unless you're at an elite program. If you're constantly in the top 25, you can get some good bounce back guys. But if you're not, the last thing I want to do is coach bad people or bring somebody to this community that doesn't have our kind of values. And I'm not perfect. I mean, you're going to miss. Everybody's going to show you one side when you're the head coach, so we got to do our research, and I think time will tell, but Rico's been a great addition.
All right, and he's on the opposite side of Mike Ford, who we're going to talk about when we come back from this commercial break. A guy that, boy, you really missed him at the tail end of last year when he ended up breaking his arm. But he is back, and he's making plays. He's off to a really good start to his senior year.
Yeah, but everybody sees the football part, but I'm telling you, man, I'm like, the reason I coach is impact. That's it. Like, impacting kids, right? Because what a coach did in my life. And so when you track Mike Ford's career, like, I cannot tell you how proud I am. He's got his degrees in 3 hours. Okay, he would tell you he was a terrible teammate when we got here, and now he's on a leadership council. We talk about getting better, and I asked everybody to write down what it is you need to do this week to get better. And last week he put down, I want to be a better leader, instead of, hey, I want to get more picks, or I want to do this so I can get to the NFL. Like, he really cares about his legacy and impacting our roster. He's chasing down his faith right now, and he's really trying to figure that out in his life. And I can just tell you that this is what it's all about, is when you see guys like that mature, you see guys that are going to leave this program ready to be the head of their household, to be the kind of father that he wish he had, right? And I know he's going to be someday, and so it's fun, man. This is what it's all about.
Well, one of our Red Hawk sponsors is your Mid-South Ford dealers, and their slogan is "Built Ford Tough."
There you go.
This guy's built Ford Tough, right?
Exactly. I had never put that together. That's pretty. That's pretty wise of you right there.
All right. Once in a while,
every now and then, man, you come through.
A broken clock is right twice a day, right?
That's right.
All right. We'll talk with Mike Ford. He will join us when we come back. We're at the Wings Etc. location. We are in Jackson today with Coach Tuke. Red Hawks and Salukis, the Houck Stadium opener. It's coming up Saturday at 6 o'clock. Senior cornerback Mike Ford joins us when we return. Coach's Show on SEMO ESPN.
We love sports, so much that we packed our walls with tons of big flat screens tuned to the very best sports programming. At Wings Etc., we love big, cooked to tender, crisp perfection wings. And so do our fans, who have voted our wings best in more and more cities across the Midwest. At Wings Etc., we love beer. We love it so much that we have over 40 different kinds of beers in bottles and on tap, including your favorite regional craft beers. Wings Etc., it's not complicated, and we like it that way. Come see us today.
Principal Mark Ruark of Saxony Lutheran High School.
I thought about a career on the Pro Golf Tour, but there's more glamour in education.
It's their 18th annual Golf Classic, coming September 15th to the Cape Girardeau Country Club.
I once eagled a par 5 with a 380-yard drive off the tee.
Yes, it's time to get your team signed up for the Saxony Golf Classic. How did you do that?
Cart path, baby. You know how far a ball will bounce when it hits the cart path?
Van Mater Buick GMC Cadillac will sponsor a hole-in-one car.
Please, don't hit the car.
Win prizes for the longest drive.
I'm going for that.
The longest putt, closest to the pin, and the straightest drive.
We have several attraction holes, including Cinco de Mayo, Wine on 9, and an opportunity to buy a tee shot from a mystery golfer.
Saxony's 4-person Scramble Annual Golf Classic will have shotgun starts at 8 in the morning.
For $125 a person.
And 1:30 in the afternoon. That includes breakfast or lunch, snacks, beverages.
And mulligans.
The Saxony Golf Classic, Friday, September 15th at the Cape Girardeau Country Club.
Just call Saxony at 204-7555.
And now, your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
Moisture from Irma will overspread the region throughout the day today. Gusty winds in the forecast with showers today. Cool temperatures, a high 67. Cloudy with showers tonight, low 59. Morning clouds, threat of showers tomorrow with a high 71. Sunshine will make a return on Thursday, 85. Dry for the close of the week. Richard Duettig of the Weather Channel.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast. Breaking on the ESPN Radio Network.
This is Mike Greenberg for the best in local sports talk and play-by-play. It's SEMO ESPN.
It's the Red Hawks Coaches Show, live from Wings Etc. We are in the Jackson location today. Just a programming note. We will be back over in Cape Girardeau next week, 12 noon with Coach Tuke. We also want to remind you that Wings Etc. not only has their award-winning jumbo wings, but their daily half-pound lunch specials start at just $6.49. And don't forget about their food and drink specials. They have those throughout the week. 59-cent wings on Mondays. They have a terrific kids menu as well. So parents, you can bring little Sparkies to Wings Etc. They have family-friendly video games in the dining room. They are open 7 days a week and always late on the weekends because the games run late. It is Wings Etc. And again, today we are in the Jackson location. Still a chance to join us for lunch. We've had a really good turnout here in Jackson today. We want to talk it over with Red Hawks cornerback Mike Ford. How good for you does it feel to finally get back out there and play, man? It had to be tough to break your arm, and then all of a sudden you can't play at the end of last season.
I mean, it's a great thing just to be back out there with my team. I mean, honestly, sitting down, being hurt, it showed me another view of the game. So, I mean, I learned some things sitting there watching other teams play, seeing routes that teams are running, seeing what they're trying to do to us. So, I mean, in disguise, it could be a blessing. It was a blessing. It helped me learn the game more. So, I mean, I'm just really excited to be back out here with my team.
And if you're able to see things from the sideline developing, I'm sure you're probably talking to some of your teammates last year, kind of saying, hey, here's what I see them doing. Were you able to do some of that?
Oh, yeah. I'd be on the sideline. I'd talk to some of the young, like the DBs that were out there. I'd be like, hey, watch out for the corner route by number 2, you know. You just got to watch out for things that you see on film, because sometimes when you're out there on the field, you're not thinking necessarily about what you were watching in the film room. You're more focused on what you have to do, what your job is on that play call. So, I mean, when you have other people on the sideline out there coaching you and telling you, hey, here it comes, watch this, it kind of helps you, and it makes your job that much easier.
Does it seem like you are in your senior year already? Has it flown by or has it not flown by?
Oh, man, it flies. Like, I remember being a freshman sitting there like, man, I wonder when I'm going to get to play. Or sitting in Coach Tuke's office, and he's asking me, hey, how are you going to help this team out? And then, boom, before you know it, you're out there playing, and you're out there, and you have to do the job, and you got to get it done. So, I mean, it flies by. One moment you're sitting in your dorm room, and the next moment you're out there, and you got to make a play for the team.
You know, they talk about two different positions in two different sports as guys who have to have really short memories. They talk about a closer who's pitching the ninth inning in baseball because he may give up a big home run in the ninth inning and they lose the game, but they may need him the very next night in the very same situation in the ninth inning. They talk about that a lot with cornerbacks, defensive backs in football. One play, a guy may get behind you and you may get beat on a certain play, and that's something you got to totally put out of your mind, short memory, because the next play is happening and they could be coming right back your way.
Oh, yeah, that's like the main thing at DB. We had a guy come in and talk to us, Ben Newman, and his philosophy was
he's a motivational speaker, positive guy, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a really good speaker. But his philosophy was have a 6-second mentality. Just play that play. After that play's done, it's nothing you can do about it. You can't go back. You can't change that play. So what are you going to do the next play? You have to bounce back and make a play the next time. So, I mean, we have coaches on the sideline I've connected with Coach Blake. He'll come talk to me. He's like, Mike, you know, you're a good player. Here, clear that play out. Come on, make the play the next time because they're going to come back to you. Like, it's for certain if somebody makes a play on you, they're coming back and they're going to try it again. So you got to step up to the plate and make a play.
So have you always been as high energy as you appear to be this year? I mean, it seems like you are really high energy. Did you get a little bit of an extra recharge by not being able to play last year? I know you're an energy guy. Have you always been as high energy as you appear to be this year?
Oh, well, like you said, it's a passion for the game, so I always bring energy. I know that if I bring the energy, it helps my teammates get up. But this year it's a lot different because, I mean, I know that these guys are looking at me. I'm a leader this year. I have guys who lean on me, come talk to me, Mike, what do we need to do, you know? So they look at me to bring them up, and they look at some of the other leaders to raise the energy. So, I mean, I have to have the energy. And, I mean, it's ultimately just having a love for the game. If you love what you're doing and you're out there doing something you love, you'll always be excited to do it.
I would think there's a little more responsibility with you this year, being a senior, because you look at all the young players on this defense. I mean, new guys to the system, guys who don't have a lot of Division I snaps, but the guys who did come back were the best players from last year. You bring back your best lineman in Josh Wilson, your best linebackers in Chad Meredith and Kendall Donnerson, and then the best defensive back in you. And then all of a sudden you look around. Pierre Lewis, Omar is a veteran guy, but still only had started 5 games in his career. Then you've got Bidarius Knighton, freshman, and then Shabari Davis, who's just a sophomore. So I would think that a lot of those defensive backs are looking to you as some of the linebackers probably are to Kendall and Chad, and then the defensive linemen with Josh Wilson. The guys who are back were the best players last year.
Yes, sir. It's just, I mean, those guys come to us and they look at us. Like me and Bidarius, we have a close relationship. Me and Shabari have a close, like our secondary is really close together. Like we have a bond. So, I mean, when they come to us and when they talk to us and they ask, hey, what do I need to do on this play? Or we watch film together and we have to help them out about what's going on the field. It's just mainly about being able to trust the person next to you. And, I mean, those guys are phenomenal athletes. Like, I believe in those guys, like I've said before in the interview, as if I was playing with all seniors. Like, these guys, they know what they're doing and they know how to play. They're gifted, too.
And that's the thing. This is year 4 with Coach Tuke, and we've heard him say, hey, I like this roster. This is our best roster. You're kind of agreeing with that by saying, man, look at some of the athletes that we've got this year compared to maybe your freshman year, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, Shabari, like his punt returns, he's blazing fast. Like, this guy can move. Bidarius, like we saw last game, he can really go up and he has ball skills. He can high point that ball. So, I mean, it's just helpful. And we got Al Young. That guy's, I mean, you've watched him play. He's a local guy. He's from Cape, and he's a phenomenal athlete. So, I mean, just having those guys around you and competing every day on the field, it really motivates you to be better. And now we got Rico, which, I mean, every day at practice, he's an energy guy too. He comes, he's like, come on, let's go. Like one-on-ones, he brings the energy. He's amping people up. He's always there working out more in the weight room. He always gets some extra work in. So it's just really a competition thing, and having those guys to motivate you to be a better player is phenomenal to have those guys around.
Good to hear that Rico is a leader in the weight room. That's a good place to lead. Certainly you want to lead on the field. I got to believe you've got a guy coming from the Southeastern Conference, generally regarded over the last decade probably plus as the best conference in college football. I'm sure a lot of guys are asking him, what's it like to play in an SEC venue? What's it like to play against some of the top athletes? So he's probably got some good stories, right?
Oh, yeah. He definitely – when he first came in, you see a lot of the young guys walk up to him in practice like, hey, like, how do you play? What's your techniques? What did you learn at the SEC level, you know? And you see him over there mentoring these younger guys. So it's just putting more tools in your toolbox. And, I mean, helping those guys put more in their boxes ultimately. I mean, like you said, we have a redshirt freshman in Bidarius. We have a sophomore in Al and Shabari. So those guys just adding on, like putting more in their box, it's just going to make those guys better. Like, so when we leave and we're gone and that legacy is left down to those guys, they'll be able to handle it just how we expect them to.
All right. What are your thoughts on the first 2 weeks of the season? You were right there at the end with Dayton, and I'm sure that you certainly gave Kansas probably more than they expected opening weekend. What were your thoughts on the first 2 games?
I think the big thing with us, it's like one of our main key components. It's just finishing empty. Like, we got to make sure we finish. I mean, we had a lot of those drives that came down, like Coach Duke said, to a 2-minute drill. We got to just finish. I mean, I believe this team is really talented, and I believe we can win a lot of games. So it's just about coming together as a team.
When you're watching SIU Carbondale, what are you seeing on film? Because the one thing that SIU can do is throw the football. They have led the Missouri Valley Conference the last 2 years in passing offense. They were 4th in the nation last year, 331 passing yards per game. This team wants to throw the football. That means Mike Ford's going to be involved.
Yes, sir. I feel like our main thing is not to worry about the other team. It's to focus on our job. So it's mainly about us getting better this week in practice, us getting better at what we can do, focusing on our techniques. So, I mean, we can't necessarily focus on what they're going to do. We just got to get better at our job.
All right. Now tell everybody what it was like. Now, you grew up in Alton, Illinois, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's just right across the bridge. I mean, basically it's on the outskirts of St. Louis. What was it like growing up in Alton?
I mean, I grew up single-parent home. I lost my dad when I was 5 months of age. So, I mean, I really didn't have the easiest. But, I mean, my mom always made sure we had enough. So it taught me a lot in my life just to be thankful about what you have. Because, like my coach in high school, he used to always tell me, somebody always has it worse. Like, you don't have it the worst, so be thankful for what you got.
Marquette Catholic High School, what do you remember about your days at Marquette? You played a little wide receiver in high school, right?
Yeah, we played like triple option. I'd be like an outside receiver, but it was more like a running back type deal. But the main thing I remember is, like, back then we played our roster. We had maybe 37 guys.
That was it. Huh?
Yeah, so it was more we had to be together as a team because everybody played both sides.
So did you personally ever come off the field?
I think I came off on kickoff. That was like the only special teams I didn't play.
Where you could grab a drink of water.
Yeah, grab a drink, get back out there, and let's play. But it was mainly just, I mean, the bond that I had with those guys. Because, I mean, you go to school with them, you practice with them, and it's just those same people. Like, you know, in college, we have an offense and a defense. Nobody really plays both sides. Right. But when everybody's on both sides and you have to know everybody on your team, it's just a strong bond, and that's how a team grows. And that's what we've been focusing on here at SEMO mainly. We have culture groups. We've been growing as a team, and everybody's getting to know everybody.
What's it like playing with guys who are intense and as good of playmakers as Kendall Donnerson and Chad Meredith? I mean, these guys could start for any team at the FCS level. I don't think there's any question about that.
Oh, man, it makes my job that much easier. Having those guys come off the edge, like I know you've watched those guys. They're amazing athletes. I mean, just having those guys rushing the passer, it puts pressure on him, and it just makes him throw it faster so I don't have to cover as long. And, I mean, those guys, like I said, I can't give them enough credit, but they are amazing. I love having them on my team.
What's it like watching Josh Wilson in the weight room?
Oh, man, those – like when he lifts and he maxes out, the whole team stops lifting. And we all just go to his rack, and, like, people pull out phones, and they all want to record him. And they're like, all right, let's go. You see everybody amped up, like they're about to go lift this 600-pound weight. It's just like, oh, my. Like, I haven't seen anybody as strong as that man.
So all of a sudden, this year, you guys all of a sudden have a lot more size on that defensive line and offensive line, a bunch of 300-pounders. How much of an advantage is that over the course of 4 quarters when you just got bigger and stronger guys up front than you've had in the 4 years you've been here?
Oh, it's big. That's been our focus. We've been focusing on finish. So, I mean, having those big guys up there and going through what we've gone through with conditioning-wise, it makes finishing that much easier. So, I mean, like you've seen, we always we're going hard. Like we're not dying down in the fourth quarter anymore like we used to. So it's really a good thing to have those big guys out there pushing. I mean, it's hard to move some big guys like that. So.
All right, Coach Napoli has come in with a winning pedigree from North Dakota State. How much energy does that guy bring when it comes to strength and conditioning?
Oh, he has energy like nobody else. I come in the weight room sometimes. I think he's about to run through the wall because he's just that energized. Like he's amped. Like he's about to go out there and play. He'll tell you all the time he wants to put on some pads. Let him play fullback so he can block somebody. So that guy he just amps everybody up. He wants everybody to be excited because he knows that that's what it takes to win.
This is a pretty good rivalry here with SIU. I mean, 45 minutes away. We mentioned it. It'll be the 85th meeting. They've played since 1909. Coach Tuk's former school. How much do you guys view the Salukis as a rival? I know they're not in your conference, but how much do you guys view the Salukis as a rival?
Oh, it's always a good game. It's always exciting to play those guys. I mean, when you have someone that close in college to play them, it's like, I mean, it's going to be impact. Like, it's going to be a lot of people there. We honestly set up it's a blackout game. So, there's a lot of people that are going to come out here. I'm excited for it. I mean, it's a good rivalry. Both sides always bring a lot of energy, so it's going to be good.
All right. Are you on Twitter or Instagram? We'll give you a shout-out for your social media.
Yeah, I'm on both. I have 2 underscores and then Showtime and then 2 more and then number 4.
Okay, so that's for both accounts?
Yep.
2 underscores, Showtime, number 4, and 2 more underscores.
Underscore, Showtime, underscore, 4.
Okay. The 4 comes at the end.
At the end, yeah.
Underscore, Showtime, underscore, 4.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll see if we get you a couple of followers. Mike, thanks so much. We'll see you Saturday at House
Thank
Stadium.
you.
All right. There's Mike Ford, senior cornerback for the Red Hawks. We will take a timeout. We'll talk a little bit about the Salukis, who will be the opponent at Hawks Stadium coming up on Saturday. And we want to remind you, Red Hawks Trivia Night is coming up. It's the Trivia Night and Auction. It is sponsored by the Bank of Missouri. Now, you can get involved. This is going to be the bye week for the Red Hawks. October 7th, there will be 8 rounds of general trivia. There will be food and drink included. Student athletes and coaches are going to be there to join you at your table for every round. They will have a silent and live auction, plenty of items for you to get involved with. You get a team together. Now, it's a team of 8. If you'd like to get involved, just log on at GoSoutheast.com/trivia. That's GoSoutheast.com/trivia. All of the proceeds benefit the SEMO Athletics Department. Again, make plans to get a team of 8 together. October 7th, the Red Hawks Trivia Night and Auction at the Show Me Center. Back to talk Salukis with Coach Tom Matukowicz when we return to Wings Etc. in Jackson. Coach's Show on SEMO ESPN.
It's your average tailgate. Sturdy, functional, but not very exciting. This is our tailgate.
There's free food,
beverages,
music, and fun people.
That's us. The River Radio tailgates begin before all of our Southeast Red Hawks football home games. But here's the kicker. You must have a ticket to enter
our awesomely fun River Radio tailgate.
You can pick up 2 free tailgate tickets per person at Firehouse Subs or at Texas Roadhouse in Cape.
Just ask for the River Radio tickets at the register.
If you don't have a River Radio tailgate ticket on game day, then all you can do is watch all the people that have tickets have a great time.
Fun for them, not you.
The first home game kicks off at 6 p.m. against the SIU Salukis on September 16th. Get your free tailgate tickets while supplies last.
Because the River Radio tailgate is just more fun.
There are sports bars everywhere these days, but there's only one place for award-winning jumbo wings, bigger beers, and better food and drink values all week long. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. We're so much more than wings. Enjoy wraps, salads, subs, seafoods, quesadillas, amazing appetizers, and awesome daily lunch food and drink specials. And now, when you can't eat here, order online for pickup at togo.wingsetc.com. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Wings Etc. Grill and Pub. Good food, great times, and online ordering at togo.wingsetc.com.
And now, your ESPN Radio Network local weather forecast.
Well, moisture from Irma will overspread the region throughout the day today. Gusty winds in the forecast with showers today. Cool temperatures, a high 67. Cloudy with showers tonight, low 59. Morning clouds, threat of showers tomorrow with a high 71. Sunshine will make a return on Thursday, 85. Dry for the close of the week. We're treated wet again, the Weather Channel.
You're up to date with the latest weather forecast right here on the ESPN Radio Network.
This is Mike Golick for the best in local sports talk and play-by-play. It's SEMO ESPN.
.53, we've got 7 minutes before 1 o'clock. It is the Red Hawks Coaches Show. We're at Wings Etc. in Jackson. Don't forget, we'll be over in the Cape location next week, 12 noon. We hope you'll join us for lunch, or you can stop by anytime, Wings Etc., with their award-winning jumbo wings. And, of course, their full complement of menu items, including their freshly made burgers, their wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads, smoked ribs. If you've never had their deep-fried pickle spears, try those. The jalapeno poppers are one of my favorites, and I know Mike Rennick is a fan of the big grilled chicken salad. He does the big salad. He gives it the 2 thumbs up. We want to remind you, the first home game means the first tailgate of the season, and you need to pick up your exclusive River Radio tailgate ticket. It's for Saturday, 4 o'clock is when it all gets underway. You can just stop in anytime at Firehouse Subs or Texas Roadhouse in Cape. Get your ticket before Saturday, and then meet us in front of Houck Stadium before the game. The tailgate gets underway right around 4 o'clock. Kickoff will be at 6 o'clock. 85th meeting between the Red Hawks and the Salukis. And Coach Tuke, this is a program that you coached at with Jerry Kill for multiple years over in Carbondale. Coach Nick Hill played for Jerry Kill when you were there from 05 to 07, and he was on that 07 team that went all the way to the national semifinals. You were there. You ended up losing to Joe Flacco and Delaware, so you are very familiar with Nick Hill.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a tremendous amount of respect for him as a competitor and as a coach. He does a great job recruiting, and he's hard to prepare for as an OC also. I remember probably one of his best moments, or one of our best moments over there, was beating a Big Ten school. We knocked off Indiana when we were at SIU. I don't know if it was that year or whatever, but I know he had a great game then. And so, certainly proud of what we were able to do over there. And now it's, trying to do the same thing here, and more than anything is just trying to invest in our team and get them to just take that next step. I think we're at a corner point where you just got to keep knocking until you turn that corner. And there's, lots of people frustrated. And you hear people all the time, it's tough to be a SEMO fan, and I know it is, but that's the way it is right now. And until we but I can tell you we're doing everything we can to try to get that thing turned. The roster is pretty solid. We've been able to stay injury-free, and I think our character's high. I think our culture's pretty solid, and eventually this thing will turn.
SIU's trying to do the same thing under Nick Hill. It's very interesting how similar you are in how close of football games you've been playing since the start of the 2015 season, and the last time they came here, 2015, you beat them. 12 of their 15 losses have been by one possession. They are 3-12 in one possession football games. So they're a program right now. They're trying to win that close game. You guys are kind of in the same boat in that respect.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked a lot about finishing, and I think that'll be this team's legacy. I felt like that even since July. I think this will be the team that finally finishes. And we're working that way, and can't wait to see it happen.
This is an SIU team the last 2 years, despite not finishing high in the standings, they led the Missouri Valley Football Conference, the premier conference in FCS. This is the best conference in America at FCS football. They have led in total offense and passing offense under Nick Hill. No surprise, of being a former Saluki quarterback. So this is a team that's going to come out and try to sling it Saturday.
Well, you don't know. I mean, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They got good players, they got good scheme, and so we just got to be ready for all of it and just play well. I think the same thing is we're just talking a lot more about SEMO than we are SIU still. Until we can eliminate some of those, poor football plays, we're not going to beat SEMO or anybody else. So we're still focused on ourselves.
They were 4-7 a year ago. But they did win 2 of their final 3 games. Now, they played a team, Mississippi Valley State, who plays in the SWAC, the Southwestern Athletic Conference. That's a struggling football program, but, boy, they dominated every facet of that game. What did you see on video? It was 55-3 Mississippi Valley State, of course, the alma mater of the legendary Jerry Rice, but it wasn't much more than a scrimmage for the Saluki Saturday.
Yeah, they got it on, and, I mean, they from the very first snap, I mean, it wasn't really a game. They did a great job. It's a really good football team. It looks like on film. You still really don't know yet. We'll know more obviously this week just how good they are when we play them. But they should have won the game, and so now they're going to come in with a lot of confidence. You could just tell through everything. Like, they're a confident football team. I think Nick's confident. And so they're going to come in here expecting to win.
They're a young football team, too. 102 men on their roster, 14 seniors. 6 of their 22 starters are seniors, only 6 of 22. So they're a little young. They had a lot of turnover on defense. 8 of their 11 starters on defense are either freshmen or sophomores, but they had a pretty good showing against the Delta Devils Saturday, -8 yards rushing for Mississippi Valley State. What'd you see?
A lot of pressure. They had a lot of negative yardage plays. They were in the backfield a bunch. I think their linebackers are a lot more athletic than they have been in the past. They made a lot of plays. They were able to turn them over. It's just a really good football team, but it's still hard to tell because you just don't know. You're comparing things, and so again, the focus has still got to be on the Red Hawks.
What's the main thing that you are driving home? What's your message this week in practice leading up to the game?
Well, I mean, I got a list of what we call keys to victory, which I have zero interest in sharing with you on the internet. But just same thing we talked about is let's just beat SEMO. Let's beat SEMO, meaning the things that have prevented us the last 2 games from winning. Let's take care of those and see where this game's at.
All right, 6 o'clock Saturday. Get there early for the tailgate and the Red Hawk Walk. That's becoming a little bit more popular item.
It is, and I'm like, I love that tradition because that was the one thing when I come here, man. Let's bring college football to this area because there's no reason there shouldn't be college football like atmosphere here. And the Red Hawk Walk, I know our players love walking through there, and everybody's having a great time. Saturday's going to be beautiful weather. That road, whatever that road's called, is paved and got it ready for its first game. And I'm telling you, these 2 road games have been tough. You talk about nice being at home, man. I mean, it's a drain on the coaches and the players. You're just tired. Just like you, I'm sure it takes you a couple of days to get back in the swing of things. And so being able to play at home this week will be a nice shot in the arm for us.
Like music to the ears to hear that moose knuckle siren Saturday, right?
That's right. I can't wait to see it.
All right. Tailgate gets going at 4, kickoff at 6. We'll see you out, Coach. Thanks so much
Sounds
for your
good.
time. All right. Coach Tom Matukowicz, and that is going to wrap it up for the Red Hawks Coaches Show. Don't forget, we will be at the Cape Girardeau Wings Etc. location. And don't forget, stop by this week to get your River Radio tailgate tickets. And it's going to be for Saturday's tailgate at 4 o'clock. Firehouse Subs and Texas Roadhouse is where you get your tailgate tickets. And we hope to see you at Houck Stadium coming up on Saturday night. That's going to do it for us. The Russillo Show is coming up next on ESPN Radio. So long, everybody, from Wings Etc., home of the Red Hawks Coaches Show.
Missouri's ESPN Radio Sports Network, 92.9 KLSC Malden, 1220 KGIR Cape Girardeau, and 1470 KMAL Malden.
That'll turn a version for you a little bit later. Will Cain's with us all day. You're here tomorrow too, right? Check it out. Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong one, not the laugh track. People are excited.
You were laughing at me.
No, I wasn't. I hit